another thing, guys, I was listening to what Mark was saying is, and I thought about what I said, what you said, Desmond. Even after Saturday, and this really hurts too. I still don't think MSU is the better talented. It's the more talented team. Talented. Because what I saw was an MSU team that played with a higher sense of urgency. I mean, they had to convert 2-point conversions. Like, I felt like they played with more concentration, more mental toughness. But in terms of talent, I still don't think that they are the more talented team. Now, I'm not saying there's some huge discrepancy between the two, but I still think like there's more NFL players on the Michigan roster, right? And that's what's like interesting. Watching those two go head to head, I thought Cade McNamara was a better quarterback on Saturday, right?
Oh, by far, yeah.
It's interesting. Now, Kenneth Walker III, I think we were talking about which. Desmond, you asked a question about who had the better rushing attack, MSU or Michigan. Kenneth
I
Walker
think we were consensus too. I think we were consensus on Michigan has the better running attack, and Michigan State having the best running back, just individual.
Yeah, and that was proven. I mean, Kenneth Walker III is fantastic, and but still, my overall point, and I don't want to talk over you guys, is that I still, even after all that happened, what sucks is that I didn't come away from that game believing, wow, MSU may be more talented than we are. No, they may be the better football team right now in terms of focus and culture and juice, but maybe not talent.
Yeah, there were times in that game, for as much as Michigan's defense let down in the second half, that Hutchinson and Ajabo were coming off the edge. They were fierce coming off the edge, and that was impressive too. And what's kind of strange is that with all the talk that we've had this year about Michigan's lack of explosiveness on offense and taking shots and all that, man, 552 yards against a good defense, they were clicking. It was self-inflicted wounds. They didn't get stopped much.
Yeah, it's that I think that's the tough part, is you come out of the game with Cade having the best game of his entire career, and you end up losing that game. It was tough. I think we talked about, if you would earlier on in the season, that you're going to have a team that's going to stop you from doing your bread and butter, what you love to do week in and week out. And I wouldn't say Michigan State, shut down the Michigan's run game. I just think Michigan was aggressive, especially early on with the play calling and throwing the football. And, Cade was absolutely dialed in. And we talked about it at the half of, I just really did not see a reason to bring JJ in the game the way that Cade was playing. He just was on. I mean, the first throw he had in the game, I mean, you could probably, there's probably 3 quarterbacks in college football that are making that throw, that anticipation, right down the field on time. I mean, Anthony didn't have to do anything except just literally hold his hand up right. I mean, Cade put it legitimately right on his chest. I mean, that was it. And for him to come out that way and then just continue to play that way, I just thought, you just ride with him. I mean, he's playing well. He's dialed in. Like, just roll with him. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Mark.
I thought McNamara was exceptional. I love when they give you the camera angle from behind the quarterback when he's making that kind of throw. And there's a few throws that he made. He made a lot of good throws, but there were a few exceptional ones with somebody like right in his chest. And what always impresses me with a guy that's playing at a high level like that is when you consider what decision he had to make and where the ball is, or where the receivers and the defenders are when he's releasing the ball versus what he's anticipating it to be like 2.5 seconds later when the ball arrives, and he made a couple of throws like that where at the time that he's making that decision, you don't really see it, but, and then suddenly he's got a dude in his chest and he's still delivering and threading a needle. And Yeah, he made some great throws. I thought he played out of his mind compared to what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, that was high level quarterbacking right there. And I get it that, we're not saying Michigan State's defense is a number one defense or anything like that, but to me, I really don't care that much. I mean, that's a top 10 team, and it's not as if their offense is a 50-point per game offense like that. They go hand in hand. So to me, I give Cade all the credit with how he played. He was absolutely dialed in, and especially for a guy, early on this season who had I think 50 pass attempts in the first 4 games to come out in this game. I think he had 44 pass attempts, something like that. He was really good. He was really good. And tough part too, I want to kind of touch on Mike McDonald, was because I feel like he has been so good this year. It's really tough and unfortunate that the defense had those substitution issues, and the spotlight is on him for those, for those kind of snafus. Because I think he's been really good this season as far as, with how he's handled the defense.
But you know what? To me, that falls on Jimmy as well, though. Because you have to recognize that as the head coach. Okay, things are all right. Hold on a second. This is a mess. Time out. Because still remember this too. Mike McDonald is a first-year defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. People have to keep that in mind. He was a linebackers coach for the Ravens. He's a first-year defensive coordinator. He's done really well. Yep. But this is the biggest game he's had to coach in this position. Harbaugh, if all this experience, you have to recognize that, okay, this is where the head coach, who's always really the overseer, has to be like, you know what?
Or should be.
Yeah, it should be. Timeout. We got to fix this right now. Right? Especially at that point in the game, because you can feel like MSU at that point in time, they were playing with that sense of urgency that we're down 2 scores. They're essentially playing desperate, right? Like that they have to get something going. They have to get in the end zone. Harbaugh has to recognize that and be like, you know what? Let's stop this right now. This is really the main, earlier in the game, this is really the main situations in which they're scoring on us when they have us up tempo. Mm-hmm. We got to nip this in the bud, And
the tough part is it's not that difficult of a rule to explain. Like, if the offense isn't subbing anybody, then the ref is not going to stop the offense from snapping the ball as fast as they want.
He should be stopping Mike. Harbaugh has to Mike. He has to say, Mike, no. We're not going that package. Either that or we'll call a timeout. Like that you cannot allow. And that's where the head coaches don't catch the passes. They don't throw the passes. They don't do the blocks. They don't have the defensive assignments. But when they are the overseer, you can see that's where the big money comes into play. The big time coaches like have those moments where their decisions really do lay the framework of what happens in the game. Mel Tucker choosing when to go for on 4th down, when not to, choosing what play 2-point conversions. Those are the situations coaches when they're to have the lead, understanding when and how to slow a guy's momentum. Now, look, I've never seen a coach. Maybe you guys have in the first half. Now, it didn't work. Use 3 timeouts to try to ice a kicker. I've never seen it in the first half. I've seen it at the end of games, but to me, even though it didn't work, it showed me a sense of, I go back to a sense of urgency, but also understanding, like, look, every point in this game matters. We're not going to just concede this field goal. We want to do whatever we can.
And I can't take those timeouts with me into halftime.
Right, exactly.
So it's not like I get double in the second half if I don't use them. So
I've seen many coaches. I don't know about you guys. I've seen many times coaches won't call a timeout in the first half, going to halftime like that. I'm like, all right, whatever. He'll kick a field goal. Let's get into the locker room. Let's go over it. They're probably busy thinking about what they're going to discuss at halftime, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just those one. That's the difference between a in-game coaching advantage and not.